Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Wild and Wingless. Tonight I got myself the AWSR president, Scott Yallop. Scott, how are you?
Yeah, good, mate. Having a wonderful day.
Oh, that's good. Hey, mate, I really appreciate you taking time out because, as you said, you're very busy with a lot of things you do on all different aspects of not only Speedway, but personal life, family life. But thanks very much for giving me the time to have a chat. Now, a lot of people in Speedway have heard the name Scott Yallop, and a lot of the guys who race the big events will have seen Scott Yallop. There's also a lot of people in the sport who don't really know Scott Yallop as far as you were actually a competitor once upon a time.
Yeah, back in the early days.
Yeah, so could you give us a rundown, a brief history on how you started in the sport to get where you are today?
Okay, well, it sort of started. Originally, we'll sponsor sprint cars, yeah. So my company sponsored Adrian Marr, which is a pretty famous name.
Yep.
Ran the old N10, and Ian Loudon in the N18. So that was Dennis Loudon's team, and we were lucky enough to get on board with Dennis, Ian, and Adrian, obviously, after he'd sold his business and was looking for someone to go on the cars. Like, it wasn't this massive sponsorship deal or anything. It was more a handshake and let's make it happen. So got into sprint cars that way. I wasn't, one of those guys that goes to sprint cars every so often, Then all of a sudden your name's on a car. You start turning up every week, right? And Adrian was a pretty competitive guy back then, so used to win a lot of features. So was Ian. Ian was a track champion. Adrian won a state title in my sponsored car. So, your interest in the sport just grows and grows and grows, right? So I was basically getting more enthralled in the sport as we went further and further in and get more excited, start going down instead of just being the corporate sponsor who sits up in the private box and, drinks beers and watches the racing. I wanted to get more involved, so I started going down and working with Adrian on his crew and giving him a hand and getting more interested in actually what happened. So that's really where it all started from. I then bought one of their cars to turn into a wingless. Always intended to run wingless first.
Yep.
It was sort of another great name of the sport. He's passed away now, but Peter Kraft was one of the very first people who brought wingless to the masses, basically. There was a division there before, but he brought it to the masses. Got to know Peter quite well, and then started, obviously, to build a wingless, started to race a wingless. I wasn't real good at it. It was really my first run into motorsport, mainstream motorsport. I did run an enduro kart for a while.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yep. But it was really my first thing into dirt racing. I was, 30 whatever years old. I wasn't a kid coming to the sport. So I was starting to learn later in life, unlike most that start, 16 years old. As soon as they go out of go-karts or in the speedway, that wasn't my deal. I was a little bit older than that, and I could afford to go racing. So I started racing wingless. I started in a Grand Healy, which is probably another blast from the past name, but he owned my first car. That lasted all of one night. So,
really?
Yep.
Jeez.
So first night I went to, actually it lasted 2 nights, because the first night we went to Goulburn, never raced before.
Yep.
Broke a linkage on the accelerator, put a go-kart linkage, which is all I had in my trailer. Actually, a go-kart tie rod as the accelerator linkage, just to try and get the thing going so I could feel what happened. Took one of my best mates there who was not really in the speedway at all, and that's the last time I've ever seen him in the speedway.
Traumatized him, yep.
It traumatized him. He said, I'm not scraping that stuff. He was just shit. It was just mud and stuff. Yep. So we raced that night, didn't go too well. Then and I think Troy Little won that night, the first night I ever raced at Goulburn. Then the next couple of weeks later, we did the track to Dubbo. You think, geez, these boys drive a long way to go racing. So we're in Dubbo, and it's my first heat, I think, or whatever. I'm at the back, as you would think, and somehow Blake Skipper runs into me. I don't know if he was lapping me. I don't know what the hell was happening, but all of a sudden I was airborne.
Wow.
Yep. And Brian Britton tells a story. He drove straight under me as I was going over the top. So,
oh wow,
had my first big dump there, wrecked the first car I ever had.
Jeez. Yep.
And the funny thing is, and I, Wayne and Blake, friends of mine, and after I wrecked, I'm in the pits and I'm like, oh, do you need some help fixing your? My car was wrecked. Yeah, it was bent and mangled. And I'm like, do you need something off my car, or do you need a hand to fix me? To fix your car? And they're like, what? People don't normally do that. I go, well, what do you mean?
Huh.
I said, well, we wrecked you, basically.
Yeah.
I said, it's an accident, mate. Like, that stuff happens. So if you need something off my car, go for your life to get yours running again.
Yep.
And that's how I saw racing. You help someone else, I'll help you, whatever. And that's it's sort of gone out of speedway a little bit now, especially with the sprint car teams. But when I was in helping Adrian and that was very relevant back then. Everybody helped everybody.
Yeah.
Somebody wrecked, all crews were there, helping, pulling parts out of their trucks, getting guys going again, just to get out and race. It's sort of a little bit more professionalism now in the sprint cars, and it's probably not as dominant where that happens quite regularly. But that is, that was such an important part of the way I came into speedway, and that's how I thought it should be. Right. So I then raced a few seasons. I started with car 94, had 3 massive wrecks out of 4 races or whatever, wrecked car after car after car, and thought, yeah, it's either I got an unlucky number.
Yeah.
I'm really bad at this sport. So
blame the number.
yeah. So I blamed the number. I changed my number, and I ran car 100 for 3 years, I think.
Right. So that was your car number 100.
Yeah,
okay. Yep.
100 was my car. So you can't have 100 anymore. So you can't go above 99 anymore.
Yep.
But yeah, I was pretty much the last one to run 100. So
right.
But during that time, obviously it's came from a sprint car team that ran multiple cars, and I did the same thing. I started building extra cars. Another guy called Pie Man. Actually, that was the first car we actually bought from Mars and stuff, from the Loudon team. That went to Pie Man. We were going to share the car, and then Grant Healy offered me his car, so Pie Man stayed in that car, and I went to Grant Healy's car. So we went from having half a car each, because the guy renovated my house, so we did a deal and went half each on a car, basically.
Yep.
And we're just going to race it half the year each, sort of thing. But then Grant Healy gave me his car, went racing in that, wrecked that so many times. So we sort of started with a 2-car team per se.
Yeah, nice. Yep.
And then we moved on. Then we went to 3 cars, 4 cars. It just got bigger and bigger.
Wait, what do you mean bigger? How many after 4?
No, I think the one Australian guy ran 5 cars. So
far out, Jesus! Start calling you Keith Coons.
Yeah, it was a bit like that. But yeah, we sort of. But I was always about giving other guys a go. It wasn't just. I thought I'm never going to win this shit, so I need someone else that can have a go at it. So, guys like Daniel Goldoni, Jared Goldoni came down. Benny Atkinson drove my cars. Nicky Britton, Brian Britton, Mikey Britton.
Yep.
Rest his soul. He's passed away as well.
Good man. Yep.
But yeah, there's a lot of people that got in and out of my cars just to have a go. Even one like Skipper, Matty Craft. A lot of those people are driven my cars at certain times. Maybe one night, maybe multiple nights, whatever. But it was all about the team, everyone working together, having a laugh, getting the car going, seeing if we can go out and win. So, and we had a lot of success as a team.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I remember sitting on the hill watching all those, because they were blue cars.
Yellow cars, blue cars.
Yeah. And I remember seeing the 100. I just didn't know who was, okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So that was, I think it stayed yellow for quite a while. And we had a heap of yellow cars. We had the N10, the N6, 66, 100.
Yep.
Then we also ran NT5, NT7. So, yeah, we had quite a few cars there running at one stage. So it gets a little bit expensive too when they wreck each night.
Yeah.
So, instead of fixing one, you end up fixing 2. But, Tuesday nights would be sort of race night at my place. And you had, Brian had come over, even though he wasn't racing one of my cars, Brian had come over to help his niece or his brother or whatever. And Dick Britton, who's, very famous. They come over every Tuesday night and give a hand,
Wow.
Just to get the cars going. I sort of did my own, but, everyone got in and got the other cars going so we could go in, week out and go racing. So,
Yeah, right.
And it's sort of, stressful because you're trying to put so many cars out every weekend, but, the comradeship and all the other stuff was,
You wouldn't have it any other way.
No, everyone comes. Tuesday night we're working, 8:30 comes on Mrs. makes, pasta for everyone or whatever. So there's, 12 people on the back veranda eating pasta after you've been working on the cars for 4 or 5 hours. It was just great.
Yeah, nice.
So
okay, so when did you transfer, or how much longer did you run doing that before you transferred over?
Okay, so during that time,
Mm.
and Pete Craft as well, he was pretty much the administrator for the club. He was the president. And I went to Pete and said...
Sorry. This is president of the New South Wales Wingless?
Yeah,
yep.
New South Wales Wingless. So Pete was the president. I said, I'd like to help you. He's not a real tech savvy guy, right? So, we're getting more technology, Facebook, internet, all that sort of stuff. I'm happy to give you a hand, administrating, getting the profile of the sport out, the profile of the division. Let's try and grow it, because I think back then there's probably 40 cars in the division in New South Wales. So, and we sort of started, he was the president. Then I think I became the vice president 1 year. And then we swapped places the next year. So I became president, became vice president. And then that's sort of how it all started. So in my administration side of the sport, but I was still racing at the same time, which makes it very, very difficult. Yeah. So trying to administrate, trying to race, especially that many cars week in, week out, it gets pretty busy. And we didn't have the technology back then of the website we have now. It was all manual nominations and, talking to tracks Friday nights, making sure everything's happening, making sure everything's done, sending through all the lists of drivers and nominations. And so it was a pretty busy time back then.
Yep. All right. And then, so when did you transfer from your New South Wales Wingless over to your AWSR?
Okay, so New South Wales Wingless I did for, 3 or 4 years or whatever. 2011, or I think it was 2012 or 2013, I stepped back from New South Wales Wingless. I lost my dad and stuff, and it just I needed my own time, So I sort of stepped away from the sport totally. Didn't race, didn't really get involved in administration or anything. I did a bit of stewarding because I enjoyed that, but sort of stepped away for a while. Then I think 16 or 17, I come back into New South Wales as a president. Then I think it was what was the year of COVID? 2020.
Yep.
2020. So pretty much 2020 was when I became president of the AWSR, because we lost our first Australian title to COVID. So 2019.
Yep.
So the 2020 Australian title we lost to COVID.
Yep.
Which was at Murray Bridge, and then we transferred it obviously to the year after. So it was 2020. I always, going to national, it was sort of do I, don't I? I spoke to Mick Parry, who was the president of AWSR. He was moving on he was running a sprint car team at that stage as well. And I think with work and the sprint car team and stuff, and, like everyone, like when I first left New South Wales Wingless, you always need new ideas, different people to come through to take the sport sometimes to the next level.
Yep.
Because you get a little bit blindfolded, So I think he was at that stage. He rang me, said, "Do you want to run for president of the AWSR?" Always got on well with him. Obviously, New South Wales is one of the major states, so we had a fair say in, or I had a fair say anyway, when I needed to.
Yep.
So, and basically that's what I did. I moved into the AWSR position. So it was pretty tough the first couple of years. Obviously, COVID really knocked us around. The sport totally, like nothing to do with Wingless itself, just Speedway. Oh well, knocked the world around, but especially when in the COVID, we lost our main track in New South Wales, obviously, which was Parramatta Speedway. So you go into the sport that you think, oh yeah, we can take this to another step, and then it's like just someone just bursts a bubble and it stops.
Yep.
And you're like, oh my God, what do we do? We got no racing, there's nothing happening whatsoever. And there's nothing we could do about it. No one. It was beyond all our control, which, you know, I don't know, I'm very big on controlling my own destiny, right? So, you know, I want to make sure I'm in control. And that's one time of life that no one had control,
No. I think, I mean, looking back on it, especially that time, I can only speak for a New South Wales club member. I think New South Wales, the Wingless Club, did a fantastic job to keep our wheels moving. We had a great committee, great club, who was continuously talking to all the members, all the drivers, because remember that was back when we had our postcodes. You were here, you couldn't go here, and if you were there, you couldn't go there, and it was really good, the fact that we had that going, and therefore people were still able to compete. And unfortunately,
and we tried as hard as we could as New
absolutely,
South Wales to put cars on the track as much as we could. But you know, you go from racing 23 to 25 shows a year to race at 4, or 5, whatever we ran, and it's just it's sort of and the problem is when you lose, it's not only COVID, but we lost our home.
Absolutely,
You know, the home of Speedway was Parramatta Speedway, right? So, we would race there 14, 15 times a year.
Mm-hmm.
And probably 50% of our competitors were only Parramatta-only races.
Yeah, that's fair to say,
So,
and then
that really hurt.
And it was really good that the club was able to move, and obviously hats off to not only New South Wales Wingless, but Goulburn Speedway, because we're able to merge a good relationship with those guys, that became our new home for a little while.
100%.
And we raced down there a fair bit. Like, I just remember just non-stop, just heading down the Hume down there. So that was awesome.
We sort of got, it was almost like Parramatta were there like every second week.
Yeah.
Stage, I think.
Yeah.
And Tony ring me and go, oh, you want to run this weekend? Yeah, we'll run at Goulburn, no problem.
Yep.
And the thing was, we had nowhere else, right?
No.
So, and they opened their arms to us, really.
Yep.
And did an amazing job, because the amount of work and effort they put in to make the track better and better each time we went there, to make our racing better and better, was unbelievable. And like I said to you before we went live, you know, sort of, we used to go to Goulburn and it was sort of, there's a barrier there, right? Then it was almost, when we started going to Goulburn week in, week out, it was almost, we got them, they hand us the keys.
Yeah.
And say, lock up when you're finished, you know?
Well, I remember over a short period of time, we only just came in the division, the track went from what you'd consider a sedan track to they added banking, which instantly changed the track, you know, characteristics for us and became a racetrack for us. So, and it could only happen due to that relationship we built. So that was great. That was really good.
Yeah. And, you know, I'm sure you're still racing there, but not probably as much, but you're still racing there.
No, we still get to go down. I enjoy going there. It's like the second home, you know what I mean? So the time you were a competitor to when you transferred over to being official, now that's something that, like, I don't think a lot of people understand, but you virtually had to take a backseat from your driving to focus on what was best for, you know, you could see, right, the club needs forward motion, we need somewhere, we need to go this direction. And that was very selfless of you to do that, because you gave up racing to put on a headset and sort of, not be the driver no more. Was that a tough call to make?
It was because you sort of, you know, I raced wingers. I did a night in a sprint car as well at Parramatta. And then I sort of, Damien Abbott absolutely destroyed my car one night. Ran over the back of Mark Blyton for a race win, so I can't knock it. If you try and you can't knock them, right? So absolutely destroyed the 100 car,
Yeah.
So it was like, we cut it up in the car park. That's how bad it was.
Really?
So, yeah. And it's on YouTube. Just watch it.
Wow. Okay.
Damien Abbott Wingless crash. You'll see it.
Yep.
But yeah, we basically cut it up in the car park, and that was almost the trigger for me to go, okay, I still had cars at home. It wasn't like, oh, I can't put another one together. I had plenty of them. Yeah. So it's like, let's have a rest day. It's the end of the season, or getting to the end of the season. Let's put a little bit more time in the administration side and stewarding, and just see how I go. So I used to steward Peter Kraft and then Gary Winterbottom, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I'd sit up with Gary in the tower. He goes, you were one of the most painful competitors. You know, used to do your extra laps, used to wave your hand out at the crowd, used to do all these sort of things. And now you're penalising people for it. And I go, well, you know, I can't penalise if I haven't done it myself. So, you know, you sort of get used to it. And I think when you've been a racer and then you move into stewarding and that sort of stuff, you've got a better eye for it. I'm not being rude, but, you know when that move could have been pulled out of, or that move, they did it intentionally. Yeah. And, you know, people either like my stewarding or they don't. But, you know, I'm pretty harsh on people if they do stupid stuff.
Yeah. I think that the main thing for a steward, what any competitor would want, is just black and white and the same call every day. Yeah. And that's pretty much what you do. So.
And it's very hard to do that too. Yeah. And consistency, like, you might make a bad call. It's like, mate, really sorry. Yeah, I got that wrong. But I admit it. I got it wrong.
Yep.
I can't fix it now. I got it wrong. Let's move forward. You know, next time it's 50-50, I might give you the benefit of the doubt. But, you know, we don't always get it right. The other thing people don't understand is you can't watch 24 cars and stuff.
No,
like, I'm not being nasty at you, Andrew, but you're like, did you see that?
Yep.
Did you see how they did that? I'm like, Andrew, you're at the back, mate. I'm sorry, but, you know, you might have been covered through, but
you're watching the parent or the dad, whatever. You're watching one car. That bloke up there is watching 24. No, I do understand that. 100%.
And there's a lot of people that don't understand that, because, you know, you're watching Tyson, one car, an X48, but you're watching him the whole race. Yeah. Yep. I might see him, you know, 10 laps. I'll see him 12 times throughout the race. Yeah. But I'm not watching him constantly.
No.
I'm watching first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, whatever. And wherever you see action is where you're moving constantly, right? Yes. So if first and second are fighting for the lead,
well, you're there. Yeah.
I've got to be watching it.
That's right.
Yeah. And in the out the side, you're watching the rest of them, but I'm not absolutely focused on the rest. It's if anything happens in the background, we know something happens. But you're watching because people want you to make sure that whether it's first and second fighting, or third and fourth, or fifth and sixth, will normally go to where that is.
Yep.
So that's what you're watching, right? Because when first and second are bolted, there's no chance anything's going to happen there. Yeah. No. So, you know, they're 4 or 5 car lengths apart. They're not really catching each other. So then you move down the pack, right?
That's right. Yep.
And you got 4th, 5th, and 6th that are smacked together. They're the ones you're watching now.
Yeah. No, so it's almost like you watch the Covey, perfect example, right? And people go, oh, but I didn't see Little Johnny back there in 12th. Yeah, Little Johnny did great to run 12th. However, 3rd, 4th, and 5th were battling like crazy. That's where the action was. That's where the camera was, and probably where the stewards are. So I do understand that, and it's funny because you say it. Yes, I know. I've come up to you many times and said, "What happened here?" And you're like, "Mate, Andrew, you're watching one car, buddy. Go watch 24 of them." Yep, I've learned. I know. It is a very hard job, and it's something that I think a lot of people are very quick to criticise the chief stewards. But next time you guys go to a track, try and watch everything. Don't just watch Little Johnny.
Try and watch.
Tell us what you find, because
exactly.
No,
so get your camera where your Facebook Live and your son.
Yeah.
And wind that camera out and watch all 24 cars and see if you see what happens.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. So once you became New South Wales president and you were doing your stewarding, which is a lot on the plate, and we touched on this, you then went to become the AWSR president. So you're adding, because you were New South Wales president and AWSR president and chief steward, doing all those things roll into one. That would have been a pretty proud accomplishment for you to achieve as a non-driver. What was the most proudest moment that you got out of doing all that? I mean, I know you're still active, but so far today.
it's sort of just the achievements,
Mm-hmm.
You can say, hey, you know, you look back and you think, oh, Lismore was such a great Australian title, but you've had three before that they're just getting better and better, right?
Yeah.
And it's the committee and the guys in the background that put that together. It just doesn't happen, right?
Yep.
You need to put the time, the effort, the focus to make those things happen all the way through the year. And obviously there's other things, a lot of technical stuff goes on in the background on, should we do this? Should we take this away? Should we add this? It's constantly happening, right?
Yep.
And not only am I now running, or at one stage running New South Wales and AWSR, but you're overseeing 7 states.
Yeah.
So in some of those, and unfortunately, there's a lot of change in some of those states constantly where, people put their hand up, they don't want to really do it, but no one else does it. So I'll put my hand up and I'll do it, but they don't really do it because they don't have the time or they never really want to do it in the first place. But as a national body, you still got to make sure that club's surviving.
Yeah.
So you're all of a sudden overseeing them more and more.
Yep.
And trying to help them more and more to move forward as well.
Yep.
So, and some of our clubs are just, like, a lot of people don't understand, Western Australia's like the third biggest state in Australia with park out.
Yeah. It's
massive, and its growth has been massive.
Yeah.
But, you got to help those guys. You got to continually talk to them, make sure they're covered and they've got the information they need to move forward, especially when they're new. So a few years ago, WA went through the thing where, they had a president, then he left, and then they had another president, they left, and they had no consistency in the sport. And I've done a fair bit of racing with Tommy Britton from over there.
Yep.
In his day, I've helped him a few times, and I know him pretty well. And I rang him. I said, Tommy, the young boys have to step up there, mate. They really got to take over the club to move forward.
Yep.
To go anywhere, you're going to have to step up. So you and some of the other competitors need to put their hand up and start doing it. And mate, what an amazing job they've done over there.
Yeah, no, and I've had Travis Armstrong on. I've spoken to Tommy Britton.
Yeah.
And just to see what those guys are doing, like, I'm watching their Facebook constantly to see the updates of the races coming up and what they're doing. And I'm seeing a very good vibe out of that club. I think it's fantastic what they've done over there. So
yeah. Oh, yeah. It's going, full guns blazing now over there. So, but they really struggled for a while.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of, I'm not saying I made any difference to that, yeah? But I just asked the question, hey, boys, stand up and make it work.
Yep.
And, mate, they did. And it's gone hellblazers, you like Northern Territory went through the roof, then they died, then they went through, and now they got growth again,
Yep.
So, and New South Wales got the same problem because we have track issues, right? So, we'd have a track to race at, our numbers dwindle.
Yep.
But then it takes an awful long time to build it back up again.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yep.
And it gets harder and harder and harder. South Australia's a pretty consistent state. Victoria's very consistent.
Yep.
Queensland, same, bit up and down.
Yep.
And New South Wales has been the same.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the last two you just mentioned both lost home tracks, really.
Yes.
And it is hard to bounce back from. It is very,
very, very difficult. And, I stepped down from New South Wales wingless this year.
Yep.
And I decided before I went there I wasn't going to rerun. So, I've done my time. I've been a longer New South Wales president than anyone in history because there is only short history, right? So, 10 out of 12 years is me, what I mean, or 7 years or whatever it is. So, I gave it a fairly long, but I was also so busy with AWSR and work and all the other stuff, I couldn't put the time and effort into all of it anymore.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm trying to say. Like, at some point, something's going to have to give or break. And, I could just imagine your phone calls during the day from, you would have had New South Wales, AWSR, then on top of that, you got your Speedway Australia stuff or SCCA involved as well, because that's what we fall under and all the rest. And I'm sure it would have been very difficult. But you did start to mention some stuff there, and that was the Australian title. I know I bang on about the Lismore one, but it was only because I wasn't there at Archfield. Like, from what I saw from Archfield was just what they showed on Clay-Per-View. So I didn't see any background stuff. But just the I guess the groundwork that's been laid and where we're heading with that.
Well,
Look,
see, even Archerfield, was very so we had obviously Murray Bridge turned to a bit of a nightmare because we had COVID. Then we reran championship the year later. Then we got washed out on the feature night, on the feature event, not the feature night, just the event.
Yep.
And it was still that post-COVID era where it was hard to get stuff. There was 6 of us on the phone trying to get an ambulance for the Sunday to just run the feature and blah, blah, blah. Like, people don't understand. At midnight, we're ringing providers to try and get ambulances there on a Sunday so we could rerun that final race. It didn't happen, so we had to basically call that event a null and void.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
So then we go to Archerfield for the next year, and what happens is they call the closure of Archerfield. So John's like, I can't tell you. I can't tell you if I'm going to have it or I ain't going to have it. If it sells, we won't be racing. If it doesn't, we will be racing. And that was pretty much how it was, right?
Jeez.
We're like, oh my God.
I don't ever recall hearing any of this. So this would have been behind the scenes stuff you guys are stressing on.
This is behind the scenes. Right?
So
Scott
much
Yallop
stuff.
pulling his hair out.
Yeah.
Going, oh my God. And the AWSR was like, oh my God, how do we get them to commit? How do you can't get someone to commit because simply it was not, it was out of the promoter's hand, really.
Yep.
So yes, he tendered, he won it. It was all done in the normal manner, but someone rings up and says, John, we're selling the racetrack and I can't tell you what day you're going to get out.
Wow.
So
we're just very fortunate that the all the stars lined up and we raced.
And then we basically ran the last ever event
at
Upperfield Speedway. So, and it was an Australian wingless title.
Yep.
So you take the bad with the good, So it could have been bad, but it turned good.
Turned good. Well, that's right. But then
and not to say that it wasn't pouring down rain on the Thursday when we got there.
Yeah.
And the Friday,
I did hear
we
that.
had to cancel practice because
Yep.
we were just worried that it was just, So, and, people were driving through puddles in the pits and the pits had been reduced in size. But we got it done.
Yeah.
What we're there to do, have an Australian title, we got Australia 1 out of it. So.
And if you go from that to then what transformed for this season, which is you're wearing the hat, it's the WOW series.
Yeah.
The Wide Open Clothing, they got on board and they sponsored this series, 5 rounds across the, 4 states. Mate, how did that idea turn into reality? What happened there?
Well, I should go back to the Australian title. One more for this.
All right, okay, let's go back to the Australian title.
So, next year, it's awarded to Eastern Creek. So we had Archerfield.
Yes.
And we're going to Eastern Creek.
Yep.
What happened?
Well,
Eastern Creek closed.
Yep.
So all of a sudden we got an Australian title, no track. And thank God, Kim and Mick Sauer put their hand up, said, we'll take your Australian title. It's not as easy as people think because on a rotation system, it needs to go to New South Wales, blah, blah, blah. We need to have a track to run it. We're getting very tight towards the end of the year without a track.
Yep.
To run our Australian title. So, Mick and Kim put their hand up, said, we'll run the Australian title, and what a title it was.
Well, I'm going to be the first one to say, I remember when I heard it was going there, I'm being honest, I wasn't enthused, I wasn't excited to go. I'd say one thing, I kicked myself, I ate my words, I'm glad I went, and I reckon still was one of the best weekends I've ever had.
Well, the nominations were struggling, and I'm like, ringing everyone, going, what's going on? Oh, no one wants to race it.
Yep.
Lismore, it's terrible. It's this, I'm that. I'm like, guys, give them a chance.
Yep.
Just taking over a track to spend a lot of money, and they're trying their hardest to get the thing right. So, please get behind them. And we were really struggling. And, you being on, sounds funny, but we're on the phone to drivers saying, please come to the Australian title.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't want to go to Lismore. Oh, come on, mate, please. It's an Australian title. So, but you can't knock what they did. at the end of the day. And same, we had everything thrown at us. We had rain, hail, and shine. Right?
We did too. Yes.
We pulled the fence down. We did everything
Yep.
you do to destroy that event, and it still happened. Right?
Yep.
So, and you got to give it to not me, but we've got a whole committee of people that go there that run those events. Yeah.
Well, I don't. I told you I wasn't going to bring up anything we didn't discuss, but I do recall a bunch of the AWSR officials getting quite sick. I can't remember who the ringleader from that was. Do you remember who that was?
Yeah. So I went there feeling terrible.
Yep.
I had the flu, shocking. And then all of a sudden, Wade's knocked out.
Yep.
Daryl's knocked out with it.
Yes.
And it's just gone through the whole AWSR. And I'm like at the track going, is anyone else going to turn up today?
Oh,
so
man.
all still in bed. They couldn't get out of bed.
No,
So,
I remember speaking to Daryl about it, and he was like, "Kill me now," and I was like, "Dude, you poor bugger." He was cool, and I remember talking to you, like I even spoke to you on some of the nights, like you looked like death, but you're still there. You knew you had to get it done, and hats off to you, man. Like you soldiered on. Yeah, no, it was good, and I still reckon, not being, I'm just saying that was the best Australian title I ever seen, I ever witnessed. It was amazing.
I'll tell you a funny story at the straight title, right? So I'm there and we're on the track. They're doing track work. So, let's do the driver interviews, run up the other end. I got radios coming out everywhere. I'm talking to the track. I'm talking to the drivers. I'm talking to controller, everything. I got earplugs in everywhere. I run up and Wade's calling me going, come up. We're doing the presentation. You need to get up here. So I run up for the driver interviews, right? And then the camera's coming out and the boys are coming out. And we got to shake their hands and stuff. And I just pulled both my earplugs out, right? So I had one with one radio, one with the other radio. So congratulate all the boys, do whatever. Now I'm like, shit, I've got to get back down the track. So I'm plugging my earplugs in. I get down there, I go, I reckon I've got something stuck in my ear. But I don't know what it is. So I'm looking at my earplug. Oh, it's me rubber.
Oh, no.
It's in my ear. So I said to someone, can you just check to see if there's anything stuck in my ear? They're like, no. I said to my daughter a little time later, I said, can you really have a good look in my ear? She gets the light out. She goes, yeah, there's something in your ear. I'm like, oh my God, I've got an earplug stuck in my ear, right? So, and this was as the A main rolled out, or B main or whatever it was, right? So I'm there and the ambulance had just come back because what's his name, pulled the fence down. Morrow.
Oh, yeah, young Connor. Yes.
Yeah, Connor Morrow.
Yep.
Pulled the fence down, right?
Yep.
So the ambulance was on its way back into the track, and I had to go on the track anyway. And I said, oh, boys, can you just take me out there? They go, oh, why? I said, I'll tell you when we get in the ambulance, right? So I'm in the ambulance. I said, mate, can you get this rubber thing stuck out of my ear? No one knows, right? Because I just jumped in to get a ride to the middle. And they're looking for toys. They can't get tweezers big enough. They can't get in there. They go through all their stuff looking for something to pull my ear out. He's going, mate, you might have to go to hospital. I said, I can't go to hospital. You'd have to pull it out here. Then eventually he finds this monster, like, tweezers, pulls the plug out, plug it back in. See you later, mate. Thanks a lot.
Perfect.
And just kept going, right? But that's the stuff people don't even know about. Don't hear, don't see. Nope. It's not a drama. Just move on. Make it happen.
Yeah. Jeez, wow. That's a lot of stuff we're hearing tonight we didn't know about. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a funny. Sorry, we'll go on the WoW series now.
Yeah. All right. So the WoW series. So how did that idea turn into reality? What tell us the background for that.
It's sort of it goes back a long time actually. I financed a 3-round series back in the early days of Parramatta when we were struggling for car numbers with 5,000 a win show. Out of my own back many years ago. Mm-hmm. And that was quite successful. Obviously, we got our car numbers back at Parramatta and then, moved on from there. Then a few years later at Parramatta when Barry and Felicity were running the track, I said, I got this idea about this series. And they go, what are you talking about? I said, I want to run a series that runs in all 3 of your tracks.
Yep.
Murray Bridge, Toowoomba, and Parramatta. Mm-hmm. They're like, really? I said, yep. I'll back it if you back me. Yep. So the basic deal was, and it was not financed by anyone apart from, Barry, Felicity, and myself, really. It wasn't AWSR, it was nothing. And we ran a 3-round series. We had contracted drivers. We had 26 contracted drivers to run that 3 rounds of the series. you know, we got all that whole series. Did you run that series with us?
No, not
I
at that
think
time. Just one round.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we had 20. I think we had the record number of cars to a club show at Parramatta then. It was 72 or 73 for that second round of that series, right? So you go, well, this does work.
Yeah.
You know, you put money and people will come,
Yep.
right? And you got the best drivers running. We probably didn't have the best 26 drivers in Australia, but we had a pretty good mix, yeah? So we had boys from Victoria, Queensland, whatever, similar to what we're doing now. Ran Toowoomba, we ran Parramatta, then we went to Murray Bridge for the final with the 60 lap at 10K to win, right? So it made a big finale. We also had a special prize draw for $100 grand prize and all that sort of stuff. Obviously, you never win that because no one ever wins, but yeah, it's always worth a lucky dip. Yep. But that's sort of how that started. I then took it to the AWSR to back that. That's when I first became president, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as most things, people think that it's what are you going to make out of it? It's not. It was never that, right? It was about moving the sport forward. I did it out of my pocket and Barry and Felicity's pocket to prove that we could do something.
Yep.
Then I took it to the AWSR, and most of the states said, yeah, we'll back it, but it never really got off the ground. Then Daniel Gardoni, who's a good friend of mine, Jason Bates, obviously, drives my car, then came back and said, why don't we do something with the WOW? Like, do a series, right? Similar to what you did back then, but expand a little bit further.
Yep.
Well, this stuff can't happen unless it's supported by the AWSR and all the states, because it's not just about turning out running races, right? It's also, there's a lot of background, there's a lot of cost to run these events.
Yep.
So yes, you need the track support, you need the prize money, you need everything else, but you've also got the administration side of the series. You got to have consistency. You got to make sure. And if we don't have someone supporting that for us, how are we going to do it?
Yeah.
So again, we went down the same road. We sold it back to all the member states at the AWSR National Conference. They all voted to put some money towards the WOW series, simply for the administration side, not for prize money, just for administration. So, which was great. Yep, let's try and do it within that budget, blah, blah, blah. But we got to get our own sponsorship. We got to get our own money. We got to get all that sort of stuff. So obviously we go off looking for tracks first and sponsorship.
Yep.
So first we got to convince a track to take Wingless.
Yeah.
And pay money for it. Yeah. So more than they're paying on a normal night. So we want this sort of money. We'll bring this many cars and it's going to be a national series. Well, at least it's safe, but yes, pretty much a national series.
Closest we've ever had.
It's open to all national drivers, right?
Yep. So,
yes, we can't take it to Perth or whatever, but in the future, you never know.
Just a quick one there, Scott. Something that interests me. Was that hard to sell that, we're bringing Wingless here, national series, you guys interested? Was that actually hard? Because
well, okay, so it was a little bit because we're trying to sell something we don't have, right?
Yep.
We're trying to sell a concept for a series.
Yep.
To tracks that maybe haven't had the best experiences or whatever. So, I went to Rhino in Toowoomba. Mate, he signed within 15 minutes, basically. Yep, mate, I'll always support you guys. You've always done the right thing by us. Your Australian titles, the series you ran before, you guys do a great job. You'll do whatever you can to make this work. They're in first, yeah?
Yep.
Then, obviously, we had Mildura. We were going for the Australian title. So we said, there's nothing better than running the week after Mildura Australian title, run the final round. So Mildura's in pretty quick, yeah?
Awesome. Yep. Love that place. Yep.
Broomy's obviously tied up quite strongly with
borderline.
Yeah, with Wingless. Yep. And he's got a pretty good tie to the Mount. So, we got Mount on. Then we had also we're talking to Simpson at the same time, right? But we're trying to get the concept, how we're going to make it work. We can't get these boys traveling. week after week after week. It's
Back
not going
and
to work,
forth,
right? We're not sprint car drivers. We're not running on sprint car budgets. So the idea was Simpson on the Friday, Gambia on the Saturday. Then a month later, we go to, obviously, Mildura for the Australian title, and the week after on the WOW. So what we tried to do was space a month between each event.
Yep.
So we're not, boys aren't spending $25,000 in travel in 1 month.
Yeah.
Try and get to so many places. So we actually got all the tracks on board. Eastern Creek, obviously, as well. But Eastern Creek, again, was a drama because we didn't really have a track.
Yeah, we didn't know what was going on. Yeah.
So we didn't know what was going on. So we didn't know, do we need to take it somewhere else? Do we wait? Whatever. And Eastern Creek was actually the last one that signed the contract.
Yeah, right. Okay.
For the series.
Yep.
Because they'd only just taken over and we're going to ask them for big money compared to, normal everyday night. And it's like, what? How much?
Yeah.
And it's like, well, we're giving it pretty much what you're paying, we're giving back that night.
Yep.
It's our sponsorship money that keeps going for the series. So, and that's pretty much, and you've got guys like Batesy, Broomy, Wheel. These are guys on the committee. Duncan, Daniel Goldoni. They're the boys that really nutted it all out and tried to get it all to work,
Yep.
And we would have had 30, 40 meetings before it became something.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Just nutting out what we do. How many cars do we let it max it out at? So you've got some tracks in Victoria that don't want 100 wingless turning up.
Yeah.
And you've got other tracks that want 100 wingless. Well, we can't do that. So first we had to set our contract number.
Yeah.
So everyone goes, oh, you struggle to get 20. We didn't. We had 40.
Okay. This is, all right. So you bring this up. So the contract number, I heard someone tell me, and I could be wrong, you got, in expression of interest, you got over 40.
Yeah, 48.
48.
Yep.
Out of that 48 to try and dwindle down to the 20, I would hate to have that job, right? So that would have been a very difficult job as itself. Did you at any point think, let's raise the number of our contracted drivers up? Or were you, no, this is it, firm? Because you've got to remember, when the concept came out, I remember being at High Tech Oil Speedway for King of the Ring, right?
Yep.
And it was the whole discussion throughout the whole piece was what this WOW series
because I ran all those ads.
Yeah.
At the King of the Ring, right?
Yep.
And this is how you make a concept come to life, right? So we paid for pay-per-view advertising all over Australia on that weekend to promote that product.
Yep.
And it
worked. It worked because it got us all talking. Everyone was talking. Everyone wanted to know how it's going to work. And there was rumors going around. And as much as I've spoken to people and they've said, oh, look, we're just happy to get any publicity. Well, I get that. I do get that. But I think maybe could have been better if the parameters were sort of a little bit more information. But at the same time, did you keep everyone hooked? Yes, you did. So you did great. No problems there.
Yeah, it's sort of, do you over supply the info or do we throw the hook and see how many people take the bait, right? So it's sort of,
because do you reckon you could have upped that that contracted?
Easily.
Okay.
So we had 48 express interest come back for contracts, right? So then obviously we get a list and we've got to go through it.
Yeah, good luck with that. Jeez.
And there was some people that should be there that aren't there, or maybe people that are there that maybe should be. But at the end of the day, there was a group of us sat down, and the easiest way was say, all right, you pick your 20 drivers, we'll see who is on all 7 people's 20 drivers, right?
Yep.
So, and that's how it works. So, and I'll be serious, there's probably 14 drivers. They're on everyone's list.
Yep.
But then there's 6 more, right? And you got your idea, and I got my idea.
Yeah.
He's got his idea, and so then you nut it out. So out of 9 people or whatever vote, we had, 9 with 14 people. Then the next one had 5 votes, 4 votes, 3 votes, whatever. So then we went back and redid it again, until we got those 20 drivers.
See, I did not think that was a process. I mean, but I didn't think it very, very thoroughly. But I could imagine sitting in the war room with 48 people's names there, and you're thinking, geez, all these guys here support our dream. Well, not our dream, but our plans, our ideas, our concept. You want to give it to everyone, but you can't, because if you did
That's
that, like,
correct. You'd have no one else there.
no one else. And then it's good because of all the people I've been speaking to on the show and stuff, and even when I travelled down to SummerSlam, I sort of asked them, why, did you not put your name through? Oh, we put it through, or some people, no, we didn't put it through this year because we didn't feel we should. But after watching and after this weekend, we're there next year. And I think, wow, next year is going to be huge, like massive.
Always, this is our first year running it as the WOW series. Obviously, I've got to thank Wide Open Clothing, 16 Industries for the amount of effort and money they put in. Also, all the guys on the committee and the AWSR, as well as the WOW committee, that the time and effort they put in to make it happen, But it's like anything. We've got this series going, but next year it's obviously up to the members. So AWSR don't do anything without the members voting yes or no.
Yep.
So, if we're to continue the series, it's the state member clubs vote yes or no. So, I'm the guy at the front that drives the bus, yeah?
Yep.
But he has no vote. I have no say in what happens. The only people that vote in the AWSR conferences are the state member clubs.
Yeah, right.
Okay, so I can have a point of view.
Yep.
I could sell a concept, I could do whatever. But at the end of the day, I have absolutely no control over what happens. That's all done by the state member clubs.
Yeah, right. Okay.
So I'm the bus driver.
Yeah.
That's pretty much all I do. Drive the bus and steer the bus in the right direction, hopefully.
Right, okay. No, I mean, look, okay, what's your thoughts? We've had 2 rounds now, heading into round 3, 4. Are you happy with the progress so far? Are you unhappy with the progress?
Yeah,
Can you see changes?
No. The quality of racing is great, right?
Yep.
And you were there. A little bit, we shoot ourselves in the foot sometimes. Toowoomba, we should have supported better, yeah? But as a division.
How so?
As a division.
Okay.
So we got a national product
mm-hmm.
that we need to support. So, and it's always a way, you got to race here, you got to race there, whatever. We should focus and make sure that we can give the best support to these national run shows as we can.
Yep.
Same as we support a normal everyday show. But you got a big show on, we want the best crowd, we want the best amount of people, we want the best drivers there. And no doubt we had the best drivers. We're just a little bit down.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
So, Sydney, we're obviously capped at 60 and we had 60 whatever wanted to run. So there was people that didn't make it to Sydney. So it's first in, best dressed,
Yep.
So, but part of the concept is if you were non-contracted, so you decided you want to run the series, we put you in first. So obviously Ray didn't get a position or want to race cars or race drivers, Stanfield.
Yep.
Didn't get the tick, but he's been at every round, so he gets priority. Yeah. So he gets auto-nominated to the next round. If you choose to pull out, he can pull out.
Yeah.
But he automatically gets a spot. So as long as you keep rolling with the series, you get a spot. And I think we've got 5 non-contracted that have raced. We'll race all 3 rounds come the next one, right?
Yeah.
So you got 20 contracted, then you got 5 that are following the series.
Yes.
We actually thought it probably might be a little few more than that, but obviously there's been, other aspects to it and whatever. But, there's sort of 25, Brian Britton's following the series. There's a few of them that have been running every round. They're non-contracted drivers, but they want to come and turn up and race with the best drivers in Australia. That's what we got.
That's right. Yep.
Our contracts were given to top 20 guys.
All right. Here's a question for you. Was there a need for contracts?
Contracts is a little bit of a,
The reason why I ask, right, and I'm a huge fan of this. I'm a huge fan. I'm not trying to upset anything. Is could the contracts have given us because first round something was going off at the first round, right? I don't know what it is. I've asked people who weren't there, but from up Queensland way. I'm not trying to throw dirt on anyone. Man, why weren't you at Toowoomba? oh, well, this, and this. And you got to remember, Toowoomba had a few things going on too. It wasn't just
Yeah.
the WoW series coming to town.
Yeah,
Toowoomba announced a couple of weeks, whatever, beforehand, no starting of cars in the pit area. You're going to have to get quad bikes, all this other stuff. And so we try to put on a few shows where we try to talk about the pros and cons about having quad bikes or having kids in the pits. And to me, it was just a no-brainer. Go there. Even if we weren't a contracted car, go there. Because, as you said, you're going to race the best. Like a lot of people say, we're going to race the best. It's like the Australian title, 5 nights over the course of the year, then we've got our real Australian title. Like, you can't beat that.
Yeah.
I just look back and think, did the contracts maybe have put a sour taste in some people's mouths? I don't know. But, because that's why I wasn't sure.
Yeah, it was more to, you say contractor, but it's like
a commitment, maybe.
Yeah, Tyson, you're one of the best drivers in Australia. We want you to turn up, mate.
Yeah.
You're SA1, and we want to make sure that you're going to turn up and compete at all 5 rounds of the series, right? So, and that's sort of, we're trying to make Tyson feel special more than tie you in.
Yeah.
I
didn't think it was a tie-in. I was just curious, like contracts. Like, could you see the series succeeding without the necessarily having contracts? I mean, don't get me wrong. Contracts, when everyone talked it became first thing they say was, and this is great advertising on your guys' behalf, by the way, World Series contract drivers. Oh, we're part of it. And I thought, hang on, we can play this 2 ways. Yeah, go for it. Be on your contract, right? Be your World Series or your World of Outlaws, whatever you want to be. And then we're going to get the posse. And then we'll try and brand the posse. The posse are going to come race. And like sooner or later, we're going to have a posse driver who's going to beat a contracted driver.
Yeah, 100%.
It's going to happen. I hope it happens anyway. But so I'm sort of looking at it that way because you've got the contracted. It's sort of like you're putting a good guy versus bad guy. But I'm not saying anyone's good or bad. But you're versing the two. So I guess it's good for a bit of drama.
You've also got 20 contracted drivers that they're driving at not their home tracks, right? So.
Oh yeah, true.
And I'm not using it, but look at Scotty Thompson. He did well in Toowoomba, had a shocker in Sydney. Right?
I feel terrible for that one because I sort of asked him not long. I think I asked him the night before. Have you ever had a bad night in Speedway? Because I've never seen it.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah. Whoopsie. Second round.
Sorry, mate.
And it's sort of how it is,
Yeah.
And the podium was totally different from Toowoomba to Sydney.
Massively different.
And then it'll be different again, I'm sure, when we get to, the cream always rise to the top, right?
Absolutely.
So, really, if you're not a contracted driver, part of those 60, my intent, if I was going there to compete, I want to be in that feature.
Absolutely.
I want to kick a contracted driver out.
Yeah.
And that's the whole idea, right?
Well, you got to remember, you're kicking them out, and I mean, I'm not saying anything that's not well known. Just go look for, and you'll find all the details I'm saying. But you kick a contracted driver out, they effectively made that trip for nothing. They don't make a cent that night.
No.
So,
yes.
On that night, they do not make a cent. So, I understand completely where, like someone said to me on the show, they go, oh, no, we didn't want to rock up to a race because we don't take points away. I'm like, you're not taking points away from the contractors. You're taking money. You're taking money.
So the contracted drivers are on a points pool anyway, right?
Yes,
so,
completely separate. Yep.
Yeah, completely separate. There's a prize pool at the end for those guys, yeah?
Yep.
Because they're committing to 5 rounds.
Yeah.
So we've got to give them something back.
Yeah.
And I think the worst you get back is $1,500 or $1,000 or whatever. Yeah. I don't have it in front of me. It's something like that, right?
It's something like that.
That's nowhere near what you've spent to race that.
God, no.
I'm telling you, right? So, and we all know that.
Yeah.
You burnt 2.5 with the tires in Sydney. But,
we're not allowed to say that.
yeah, sorry. But, it's sort of, but you're going to get something back.
Yeah.
And if you have a look and you won all 5 rounds, and if you won 5 rounds, you would win the champ. It's a good payday, right? It's probably cost you nothing to race.
Nothing.
So it's good that we've got a different winner each week.
Yep. Because
no one's absolutely dominant in it, and our sport is so close.
Yeah.
And you can have a good night and a bad night, right?
Oh, yeah. That's all it comes down to. Then
how many laps did you roll at Eastern Creek?
Oh,
God. It's just...
You're going to have a bad night, so it is what it is. But
it's just a bad night.
I want to see it continue.
Like as the committee, we'd love to see it continue. It's really up to the members, right?
What would you change? What would you change?
Well,
Come on. I'm not shooting you guys in the foot. I'm just saying, like, there's got to be something we're going to change for next year.
Yeah, and that's the whole reason we sort of ran this year was what do we do right, what do we do wrong? Yeah.
Yep. Oh, please, no. I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong. I'm just saying, like,
but
along the way you evolve.
What do we do right? What do we do wrong? What can we do better?
Yep.
What more do we need to make it work? Do we need to increase our numbers? Do we need to decrease? What do we need to make it work? You know, there was a lot of, and I'll come straight out. There's a lot of people, we don't get tow money. No, mate. But it's in the prize pool at the end. So, you know, we aren't spring carters. So, you know, to get that sort of prize money, you're talking over the 5 rounds and the contract was 75 grand in prize money, mate.
Yes.
Untold that's unsaid in wingless sport, you know. So people go, but when you look at it as one number, it's 75 grand in prize money over 5 nights. Yep. You tell me what other wingless event runs that? Nothing.
No.
So,
no.
Yeah, no. So overall, it's massive.
Yeah.
Individually, it's, you know, like any other night, really. But overall, it's quite good. And we really want, you know, there's so many ideas people have, you know, you got 20 contracted drivers and, you know, someone's not gone that well that year. Do you offer it the same 20 or do you take him out and put another person in? Do you have a level before you can get in or whatever? And there's a lot of stuff people are talking about and coming to us going, could you try this? Could you, you know, can we maybe convert prize money to tow money on for each round or whatever? And that's stuff we've got to sit down and talk about.
Yep.
I'm not scared to talk about it in front of people because that's what we do.
Yeah.
We've got to talk about it, work out what's going to work for the future.
Yeah.
And, you know, if we do it right, we'll get more sponsors.
Yep.
You know, we'll get more people back in the series. Like, we can't complain of what we got now.
No.
So, you know, we have put money in, but we've got 20 other subsidiary sponsors in the series, you know, from 5 grand to 3 grand to 2 grand to 1,500, whatever they put in, you know. So you can't like go, well, this didn't work because it did work already.
Yeah.
But
I believe it's working. And like I say to everybody, because a lot of people had the chats, and that's why as soon as I saw an opportunity, I saw Jason Bates at Daylight Day, I went and asked him questions. Just because of what I saw written down. And it was a simple fix. No worries, mate. That's fine. I just needed clarification. Just like when I see you somewhere, if I've got a question, I'll come and approach you. And that's what I feel everyone needs to do is just, if they do have a question about it, don't sit there and create negative vibes of rumours. Yeah. Go speak to the person.
Well, it's you know, we talk about rumours. You know, I got approached by a few guys on the weekend and said, you know, on the Australian title nomination, it says $100 going to media.
I didn't even read that. Okay.
As a portion of the nomination, right? So a lot of people are like, who gets that? Well, no one gets that.
It's paying bills.
No, what we're trying to do is produce a broadcast quality 2-part series to go on TV.
Yeah, right. Really?
Yeah, for the Australian title.
Wow.
More people are like, okay, we maybe should have promoted a little bit better on what we're doing.
Yeah.
But, you know, all state member clubs, as I said, the members vote. We don't make the decisions, right? So the state member clubs, they're the ones that voted, and we put it up at the last conference. Wade, again, spent his time to come down and explain maybe what we could do something a little bit different, like he did with the brand series down in South Australia and Victoria, where they're on Speed Week and all that sort of stuff.
Speed Week, yep.
This was way before they did that deal or any of that sort of stuff was done. And Wade said, maybe we do something for TV and see if we can get it on mainstream TV.
Yeah.
But you can't put something on there you don't have, right?
No.
No, true.
Yeah.
Everyone goes, well, where's it going to be? Well, hang on, mate. We need to produce it, and it needs to be a product.
Yep.
Once the product is good, they will take it.
Yeah.
But we need to produce that product. So that's what we're doing.
Wow.
So we're basically producing a broadcast quality program out of the Australian title of Mildura.
In that case, I was going to
There's
ask you
news
about.
for everyone.
Yeah, I was going to say I wasn't expecting breaking news here. I thought I was going to get a little bit out of you, but not much. But
Yeah.
all right, well, because I was going to talk to you about the Australian title at Mildura and what you thought how they could improve, and already we've got a massive one. And I'm not saying that in a negative towards Lismore either.
Mildura, City of Champions. Just remember that. When
City
you
of
get the
Champions.
slogan right.
Yeah, right. Okay, Mildura, City of Champions.
Yep.
All right, let's talk about the Australian title.
Yep.
So Mildura, are we going to see bigger and better from Lismore? And we all loved Lismore. It's not
Listen,
there.
Mildura would be one of the best tracks in Australia for racing. Yeah.
Yep.
You know, you won a South Australian title there, didn't you?
Oh, the young fella did. I didn't do nothing.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah,
no.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
I just drank beer afterwards.
Yeah. You're as good a driver as I am, but that's all right. But you know, great track for you guys, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you won an SA title there, and it's a great wingless track. So, and let me tell you, we have meetings, and this is where other people don't understand what happens, right? In the background. We've been meeting every week, if not every second week, with Mildura Speedway on what we're going to do. How can we better it? How can we do stuff that hasn't been done before?
Nice.
How are we going to make this bigger and better? You know, and people don't understand. Do you reckon that? So we look at the Australian title, we go, Mildura, let's calculate some car numbers, but we have no idea, right?
Yep.
Because apart from what we go in the past, and a major track, we have this many cars. Mildura is sort of the middle of everywhere, right? So South Australia, like, and you'll find this funny in a minute, but you got South Australia, Victoria, New South Wales. It's on the borders, right?
Yeah.
You can be in any of those states in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's very central.
Yep.
Even for Western Australia to come across, it's quite a central location. So we're hoping we can cap the best ever we've had at the Australian title, mate. Maybe 110 to 115 cars, right? So we take that to Mildura. They're like, geez, that's massive.
So you've got those car counts, because I have been seeing clubs asking for EOIs from their members.
Yep.
So you're taking that from what you've received so far.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, disappointed fellas. Come on, guys. We're talking 140. Come on, get up there. All right. So you're saying 115, 120. All right. We've got a bit more to go, but jeez. Okay. Yep.
And,
huge. It's going to be huge.
It will be massive, right? So, but we're hoping for that over 100 cars.
Yeah.
If we get 115, 120, man, we're doing black stuff, right?
Yep.
But we know that with every car that goes to the Australian title, that they take 4 people to the Calcutta.
Yep.
You tell me one venue in Mildura that can hold over 400 people? Nowhere.
See, this is the thing. A lot of people don't think this stuff through. This is why I've got AWSR. Wow. Didn't think of that. Yep.
So our next problem is,
far out.
Where do we find a venue that can hold 450 people for dinner?
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And you ask any other division that's been to our Calcuttas, they're like, mate, you guys do it like no one else, right?
Yep.
It's mandatory. Everyone goes there, has a beer, has something.
Have fun. It's good.
Has an option, have some fun, goes home, right? So, you know, depends what hat Tyson's wearing this year, I suppose. But
I don't know.
But how do we find a venue that takes that sort of number in Mildura?
I don't think
it's quite difficult. So, you know, we're going to the basketball arena. It's the only place that holds 500 people, right? Not saying we're going to have 500, up to 550, right? So, but that venue doesn't have a caterer. So we've got to go get a caterer. That venue doesn't have 500 tables and chairs. So we've got to go get 500 tables and chairs. Like, so it just keeps going, right? Yep. So people think, oh, it just happens. It doesn't just happen, right? We got to make it happen. So, you know, and then even myself, a little bit naive to it, we're like, okay, who's going to supply liquor? Well, it's not a licensed venue. So in a club, the Mildura Speedway Club apply for it's a licensed venue, but with a license, right?
Yep.
So you can have alcohol, but you got to be a licensee. So no one's a licensee. So Mildura Speedway Club have to go get a liquor license to be able to supply liquor at the night.
Jeez.
But we need a caterer that can cater for 500 people in Mildura. So then we spend 3 weeks looking for caterers. Like, it's just, it gets more and more.
Did not think this.
Then, not clicking is the venue, even though it's 6 minutes away, is actually in New South Wales.
You're kidding.
No. So then all of a sudden we got to follow New South Wales licensing, right? Not South Australia, not Victoria, not anything. It's
wow.
It's New South Wales licensing.
So this is going to be the first Australian title that's had a cow cutter in one state and you're racing in another.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice.
Within 15 minutes of the
place. And everyone reckons this is easy.
Yeah.
This is easy.
Just throw it together.
I've learned something new tonight, so this is blowing my mind. This is insane.
But even with the Mildura Club, we'll sit down, we'll nut stuff out weekly, right? Have we done this? Has this been already done? And that's like the alcohol, the food, the whatever we need to do, the themes for the night, which we won't release yet, but it is the City of Champions. I'll just let you know that.
Yep.
There's more to it, but it is.
No, that's good. At least we've got something. Yep.
And way to release the rest soon. But constantly speaking, talking to the tracks, just simple stuff of how well did it work, because we had quads on the infield at Lismore with wingless guys on there going, checking cars, pushing them off, moving stuff pretty quickly so we didn't get held up. So then we're all of a sudden going to Mildura, can you get us 4 quads for the night? Oh, okay. Don't know how we'll do that, but leave it with us.
Yep.
So then there's more and more. So each time we do it, we're getting better and better at it. Yeah. So, but yeah, I've got to give it to the Mildura Speedway Club. They have been amazing in this to just get behind it. And they're like, yeah, we want to be bigger and better than Lismore.
Yeah. And that's no disrespect to Lismore. We love Lismore, but yeah.
And guess whose home it is, right? Wild&Wingless.
I could just imagine every day he's just trying to work out different ideas and ways you can make bigger and better. And as long as I see pyrotechnics, I'm happy. So please.
Yeah.
That's all I care about. Explosions.
I just got them.
Oh, God, no. No, I don't. That's going to be insane. That's going to be insane.
But it's all ideas, right? So everything starts with ideas. Someone says, oh, why don't we do this? So we go get a price. Oh, no, it's not really worth it. Or, it's a great idea or whatever.
So you know that I had Daniel Goldoni on the show, yeah? And I remember when I had him on the show, I actually, we did the episode, then that night, like, we turned everything off. That night when I was in bed, I thought, I better just message him and say, hey, mate, because he mentioned some stuff about during the week between Australian title and WOW series, right? And I messaged him and say, hey, mate, are you sure you want that stuff to go to air? Like, if you want, I can cut it out because I don't want to get you shot. And he goes, no, send it. Okay, so next day I edited it and up it went. So he sort of let the cat out of the bag that he didn't tell us what's going to go on, but he did tell us there will be some activities, some events
like
throughout the week, which
I must say with the WOW boys, like they're all, I don't know what it is, golf, whatever. They all want to get everyone together.
Yep.
Like, unfortunately, I got to fly in, fly out for the Aussie title, and I'll fly back for WOW series.
Right.
Because unfortunately, I've got a job now. It's really unfortunate. But,
yep. No, I suck at golf too, so I'll pretend to do the same. Yeah.
But I'd love to be able to stay there for like 2 weeks and enjoy the whole thing. But unfortunately, I've got stuff to do, so I'll fly in, fly out for the Australian title, and fly back for WOW the next week.
Yep.
But yeah, the boys are trying to put together a big plan for the whole week for everybody. So whoever's going to stay is going to have a great time, I can tell you.
Yeah, I cannot wait to see what's going to happen there. That's going to be fun. That is going to be fun. And what a town to do it in too.
Yeah.
What a town to do it in.
And the main sponsor is the pub, huh? Like,
I love that place.
What more do you want? Well, they're the main sponsor for the Australian title too, right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because as you know, I'm built for feed, not speed. So I love that place. They have a great menu. Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So, so they've come on. They're WOW series sponsored too. They're the one that bought the chassis that we're giving away and all that.
Oh, really? Is that wow?
Yep.
So that's the thing. A lot of people don't see this, and I guess this is things that when everything was sort of first mentioned, and because we didn't hear much about what's going on, all it was like, and I kept saying to Jason Bates, I kept saying, mate, just come on and just put some stuff to rest. People know what you guys are doing, and it's great. And he's like, no, it's all good. Good publicity, and any publicity is good publicity. And it's like, I understand that, but now we're hearing more of what's going on behind the scenes to make this stuff happen. And it's not as easy as what we all think. No one,
even
as soon as you come up with a concept, no one's coming running at you saying, "Please, Scott, I want to be a part of this, and here's the money, and this is the track, and everything else." Like you got to
yeah,
work it all.
no,
People don't
it's
see that.
not. It's nowhere near as easy as what everyone thinks. Even on the first night that we run at Toowoomba, with ourselves, right? So people, what jobs they're doing and all that sort of stuff, and we've gone, oh, we didn't have anyone to do that job.
Yep.
Quick, so I go do it. Karen,
Yep.
you got to do this as well.
Yep.
Karen, you got to do that as well. And we're running around, and you'll know on the first night down there, I was running around doing. I was doing interviews. I was doing all the other sort of stuff just so we could, get the vibe, make it happen.
Yep.
That's how it is. Everyone that's involved in it wants to make it better.
Yeah, and that was a great vibe on that first night and second night as well. Everyone rocks up before they go through inspection. Everyone's happy. Everyone's good to see, and everyone's smiling. It's great.
It's just getting better and better, right?
Yeah.
So, and the whole goal at the end is to have it run again next year. Yeah, we got the Australian title. That is the best driver in the country, and I'm not scared to say. People say, like, why don't you use something like the WOW series to get the Australian title, right? So you run a 5-round series. The best
that changes it from Australian title to Australian Championship. But yeah,
yes,
okay.
exactly. But there's a lot of people that come up with that sort of stuff, and you go, yeah, but a lot of people can't afford to do that.
Yeah, right. I mean, that's one thing I love about dirt is it's one off. But anyway, okay, that's interesting. Well,
no, but I'm not saying that's my
I know
outcome, but that's what people come to you and go, oh, you should do that for your title, where you have 5 rounds of a series and then blah blah blah. And I'm like, yeah, no, that's not really going to work. We want it as a series, blah 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 blah. So but there's people coming up with ideas constantly to try and take it to the next level.
Yeah, and I think that's what we need is the ideas. It doesn't mean everything has to go through with a yes. But it's good that we've got talking.
100%.
That's the main
100%.
thing. So tell me something. With AWSR, what's going on with AWSR at the moment? What are we going to look for in the future with AWSR? What do you guys got in the pipelines? Can you give us anything on that? You guys working on anything? We got.
It's a lot of people go, oh, what do AWSR do?
Here we go. Perfect time.
One race a year,
No, you're not anymore, but yeah. I heard that one.
But, no, that's pretty much what I hear. Hey, all you guys just do is one race a year, all right, mate. So we don't do.
And it was the best race last year, by the way. Yeah.
But you've also got and you've got AWSR, parts for wingless, yeah. So a lot of issues that people don't really realize: availability of parts. How do we secure the future? How do we make sure that in 2 years' time you can buy a front timing cover for a V6 Buick motor? That sort of stuff. That's the stuff that we deal with on a daily basis, trying to make sure that the longevity of our division is there. A lot of people talk about motors and all that sort of stuff. It's like there's whole committees working on stuff so we can make sure that we got longevity in our sport. Yeah. Irrelevant what it is, we need longevity. So, we got all these V6 wingless out there. They obviously haven't made the motor for 20 years. So, we've got to make sure we've got that product for another 10 years if we need it. So also with obviously lacking of product comes new products that we need to introduce. So we do a lot of testing. We do to make sure we can use it. And it's not advantage to you over someone else. That it's not a competitive advantage by using that product, by changing to this, by doing whatever. This goes on in the background constantly.
Right, okay.
You don't understand any of that sort of stuff, right?
This is good, yeah.
So also you've got states want to do stuff. You got state titles. We assist with every state title in Australia where we can. So we'll supply a representative to pretty much every state title in Australia.
Okay,
in some way, shape or form, whether it be technical or whatever. Some states, like I was at Horsham on the weekend, right? So I went up there to steward and assist with the Victorian title. if they needed technical, we would have sent a technical person. But, you know, Shawnee Fitzpatrick, who's also the Victorian president, is our interim tech officer for the AWSR. So, you know, we don't need to take a tech person because our tech person's there, right?
Yep.
Then next weekend is Tasmanian title.
Yep.
So
Carrick Speedway. Yep.
Yep. And Graham Flood's going down.
Nice. Okay.
As a tech guy. They don't need a steward or whatever.
Yep.
Originally, I was going to go down there, but, you know, I got such a busy schedule at the moment. It just makes it really hard week in, week out to try and travel as far and wide, you know. So,
yeah. No.
But Graham's going down on behalf of the AWSR as a tech guy.
Okay.
And same, we've got tech guys in every state, but some are more advanced than others, right? So, you know, you've got for our series like Jimmy Hodowitz is our tech officer. His knowledge is unbelievable. Same as Graham, same as Shawnee.
Yep.
But those guys meet every 3 to 4 weeks to discuss changes, things that need to work, happen. Same as rules. Same, the AWSR and the SCCA very close. So any ruling changes or anything is always discussed. You know, I talk to Wayne all the time. It's sort of, people just think we do one thing. It's not.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to it than that, right?
No, that's why I wanted to ask, because there is a lot of stuff you guys do. But I want to ask a question, and I don't want you to get upset with me when I say this, but give a reason, I guess. So this is a question that I've got a lot lately.
Yep.
And that is, with looking at a possibilities 115 cars for the Australian title, would it be fair enough to say that Wingless may have to look at another option with our qualifying and heats at Australian title level, rather than doing our 3-heat format, so similar to what the sprint cars do with your time trials or anything like that?
It's currently 4-heat format.
Oh, so, 4 heats. Sorry, I can't count. Sorry, guys.
Over 85 cars drops to 3 heats. So
right.
So that's something we constantly look at. So people come to me. I'll explain something to you that most people don't realize, right? They come to me and they go, "Oh, listen, I'll just find it. Give me 1 second.
I'll cut this out, all right?
Here's the Bible, right?
Yep.
This is what we race to, yeah?
Yep.
These are our rules and regulations.
That is true.
Yes. What we race, yeah? Yep. A lot of people come to me and go, "Well, the rule book says this, and I think it should say that." Yeah? Not one of those rules in that rule book is good for more than a year, if you choose to.
True, yes.
Every rule is written. It goes in a rule book until the next year.
Yep.
People have this misconception that once it's in here, it's there forever.
No.
If it needs to change, the members need to change it.
Yep.
I can't change it. Again, we don't vote to change it. The state member clubs vote to change it. But people using the old excuse, "Oh, it's in the rule book, and yeah, it'll never change." That's bullshit. Yep. Well, sorry, shouldn't use that language, but it's
all right.
Anything in that rule book is only good for 12 months.
Yep.
Whether it be a motor regulation, a racing rule, whatever, tyre rule, doesn't matter.
Yep.
Only good for 12 months.
Or in my case, sun visor rule. Come on, change it. Yep. No, I hear. That's spot on right. That's spot on right. Yes.
100%. And you know, one of the things I've spoke to our committee about recently was we found quite a few issues in some older rules where the wording is not so great.
Okay.
Yeah? So rule still needs to be there. It's just not worded correctly.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
So, and that happens quite a lot because over the last 15 years, rules have been added, removed, added. One refers to another that's not there anymore, blah, blah, blah. And who's going to sit there and read word by word the rule book? It's pretty boring, right?
Yep.
Especially technical specs and stuff. And I'm sure motor builders don't read them either, but I wish they did. Yeah. But until something happens, you go, "Mate, did you read the rule book?"
Yeah, that's right. Famous last words.
Yeah. Oh, rule book? What do you mean? So, but yeah, anything we write in these books is only good for a year, right? So if someone needs to change it, it requires changing. Just a matter of putting in an ocean and a notice of motion.
Yep.
And then all the states get to vote on it. And that's so 1 year. Anything's only good for a year.
Yep.
So unfortunately, and what I was getting back to is our title formats are in the rule book.
Done. Okay.
So anyone wants to change a national title format, it's a matter of notice of motion from the clubs.
Yep.
And we go to the national conference, and the people that turn up to the national conference are the people that you guys voted in as your executives, right?
Yep.
So they're the guys voting on your behalf, or we would hope they've gone back to the clubs and got the clubs to vote and decide which way they want to go. But people have, formats they want to change, whatever. It's just a matter of putting a notice of motion. It may not go through the first year, yeah, but people go, okay, let's offer another format, put it in. It gets people talking.
Yeah.
Once everyone in the room is talking, they'll take it back and continue talking.
Yep.
Then the next year, you'll have 3 different versions of that same notice of motion to go through. I'm telling you, I've done it for a long time.
I'm glad I'm not in those meetings. Far out, my head would be spinning.
All
right, well, that's good. I mean, so what you're saying is, and what I'm taking away from this is that and I've seen it firsthand. AWSR is all about change. Like sooner or later, we evolve. We change certain things, right?
Yeah.
So as much as the people saying, and I felt bad, the way SummerSlam was ran with the amount of the amount of volunteers they had with Victorian Club, that was an amazing 4 nights. Still, highlight of my Speedway career, I reckon, or being a part of Speedway was that. It was amazing. But people come up to me even then and said, "Oh, we should have had this format. You got 70 cars. We should have this format." And I said, "Oh, well, what's the go with that? Like, they can't just change that, can they?" Like, and then people started turning around saying, "Well, you're now talking about over 100 cars. They should do that Australian title." I thought, well, I've never asked if they can do that. I'm just saying it looks like we're gonna get over 100 cars. I'll ask the question when I get an opportunity. What needs to be done to look at that? Well, there we go. Now all it means is someone has to put some pen to paper, run the process, and we see how we end up. So
exactly.
There you go. And what you just
any rule, right? So it's exactly the same. Any rule that's in that rule book is someone's just got to put. And this is, we sent notice of motions out probably a month ago to say anyone with any ideas, anything they want to change, put pen to paper and send it in.
Yeah. Every year I get an email about that too.
Yeah.
Every year I'm very lazy and I don't do it, and then I win just the next season when that rule hasn't changed.
Oh, geez, we could have changed the Australian title format. Yeah, we could have, but you didn't write it in there, right? So,
no, good as gold. So, but for the Australian title, 85 cars over is 3 heat format. Is that right?
3 heat format. Yeah.
Right. Okay, there you go. 3 heat format. Ooh, it's going to be tough.
85 plus.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, that's what we're getting with pyrotechnics.
And there's one thing I want everybody to make sure they read. The sub-regs for the Australian title. And I'm not going to give it all away. Just have a look at those sub-regs there.
Okay.
There could be some changes there. You don't know.
Yeah.
Under the current rules. So people have to. Yeah, but you've got to read it.
Oh, there goes my nights. Couple of nights. It's going to take me a while to read that. Done.
So when people nominate, they tick the box. Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I read all the. Yeah, I bet you that happened. Then we'll turn up the straight title. People will say, "I didn't know you were doing that."
Mate, there's a reason sometimes, Scott, when you walk up to me and say, "Andrew, have you read the rule book lately?" No. I was going, "Oh yeah, I know where this is going. I got no argument for you." And all right, my bad. You're right. I'm wrong. All right, mate. Look, let's end it with a few questions. All right, what's your favourite racetrack as a competitor?
Obviously, Parramatta.
Yeah,
was an amazing place. But probably most successful was Nowra.
Nowra?
Oh, actually, I won stuff at Parramatta, but Nowra, I used to love Nowra. The old Nowra, unbelievable.
Awesome. Well, hopefully it gets back there when they put new service on it. So, fingers crossed. What's your favourite racetrack as an official?
Oh, listen, I must say, probably Murray Bridge, eh?
Murray Bridge? Yeah.
Great
facilities.
One of the best wingless tracks. The 60 lapper and the Australian title that I went there for were unbelievable races. Top to bottom, multiple lanes. What more do you want, right?
Nah, that's it.
And that's what we want to see, yeah? So that was probably one of my most memorable. It is more for the show, the event, the everything. Obviously the racing was good.
Oh, it's still good. It was still good.
Yeah. Still great, but I think Murray Bridge is one of the best races I've seen. Yeah.
All right. And what's been your favourite moment in the sport?
Coming into it.
I remember coming in, I had a massive smile on my face, rocking up for that first race meeting. Wasn't with the wingless, but anyway, rocked up with the first race meeting, and I don't think I've been
I
as
know where you
happy
were.
ever since. I don't think I've ever been as happy ever since.
Because I remember the steward on that night, but that's all right.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. What, in a legend car?
yeah.
Yeah, who was your true steward? Probably me.
I think it was, yeah.
Yeah, I was. My
we were,
first night with Andrew Williams.
no, we behaved. We didn't get in trouble that night. The second night.
I took a couple. But,
and that was it. Enemies forever. No,
Yeah.
look, mate, I really appreciate you coming on and having a chat, giving us your time. I would like to see perhaps, I mean, the door's open for AWSR to come on and use this platform to reach out to the members and have chats about things moving forward. But I'll tell you what, just there's a lot of people who have supported you and helped your ideas get off the ground and stuff like that. So this is where I normally give drivers an opportunity to thank their partners and sponsors. But mate, I want to give the same to you too, for the people who helped you.
Well, you know, it's a family sport, and I've got two daughters, not really racers, but they've been obviously with me, and most people know my daughters because they would have seen them at tracks everywhere with me when they were little to even big now, you know. So I got to thank them. My wife, who absolutely hates me down the speedway, but that's just life.
Yep.
I had a monster accident one night at Parramatta. It's the last time she ever went to speedway. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I hate this sport. I'm never coming back.
She supported you that much, she never went back again.
Yep.
Nice,
She said,
nice.
I can't watch you hurt yourself.
And that's fair. That is hard.
So
yeah.
That's fair enough. Obviously, you know, I don't really have sponsors. I've had a million sponsors on my car over the time, but you know, a lot of it I paid my own way. Help friends that own businesses, whatever the case may be. But you know, you would know most of it comes out of your own back pocket. You don't specifically have, you know, major sponsors. It's who helps who and all that sort of stuff. So that's what's happened throughout the years. As AWSR and New South Wales Wingless and that, we've had plenty. And you know, we talk about some of the strong people in the sport, like WOW, which obviously is 1/6 as well.
Mm-hmm.
But remember, it's Aussie Forklifts, right?
Yeah, so started off Aussie Forklifts.
Who's supported Wingless since I came on, you know, and he was always one that would match me dollar for dollar, whatever I put in, whatever the case may be. Major sponsor, you want it, you've got it. You know, they're the sort of people that we need in our sport, and you know, and we don't always see eye to eye at the racetrack. That's how it is. But you know, they're the guys, they're the people that get behind the sport. And you can't thank those people enough for the time, the effort, the money they put in. And I don't know what else to say apart from, you know, the officials for every club in Australia, the amount of time, the effort that they put into their own clubs, the AWSR, all our board and stuff, and the amount of time, all the executives and the amount of time that they put into the sport, which people have no idea. Yeah. So even tracks or whatever the case may be, all their officials, and apart from a few tracks in Australia, the rest of it are all run by clubs or not for profits or whatever. There's nobody making huge money out of these things. You know, it's not like,
if that's your idea to make money, is to come into Speedway and devote all your time, like we spoke before about Wade Ornger.
Yeah.
$1 per hour, it's not money making. Not money making at all.
How to become a millionaire, going to Speedway, being a multi-millionaire.
Yeah, multi. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's exactly the way you get it. So, you know, and it is without all those people that this sport cannot survive.
Yeah.
But we need the races sponsors. Like there's some guys out there with some amazing sponsors on their car.
Yeah.
And the look of some of these cars now.
Oh, yeah.
Like from when I first started, I used to think I lifted the bar because, you know, I had pretty clean looking cars and I won best presented. That's all I could win. Couldn't even win the raffle, but I could win.
You just spoke about race wins before, mate. Come on, I got it recorded now. It's there. But anyway, keep telling your sob story. Sure.
Best presented or whatever the case may be, you know. And you're like, now you go to track, it is hard. There is some nice looking race cars.
Yep.
And especially like I'm at Horsham on the weekend. I'm looking at this massive transporter. I'm like,
What you told me that was that the VX62?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brad Warren. Yeah.
Garlic.
Like,
yeah.
Yeah. I'm like, my God, look at that transporter.
Yep.
I never even noticed it, right?
No. Yep. I've
Until
already
it's
sussed
right
it
in
out.
front of you, and I'm like,
Yep.
who came with that? Was that a junior?
Yeah.
When you see it, we're going to sit out the back. I'm going, oh my God, we have really taken this sport to a different level. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty bad when he tried to give me the hard word when we were at Borderline, and the wife's gone and had a look at it. She's given me I think she's given me the nod to go ahead when they want to get rid of it. So yeah, I love it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
I wouldn't mind having
it's
that.
for sale, eh?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Oh, Speedway, make sure I'm broke forever.
Yeah. Exactly. So.
No, it's good.
That's where our sport's going. Yeah.
No, that's right. Well,
and if it wasn't for people like you, so Andrew, promoting us and stuff with
arguing with you all the time.
Yeah, but that's life, mate. That's
that's good. You're approachable, and that's what I like. I'll always have respect for you because you're approachable. So.
Yeah, I'll always talk to you. Don't worry. You might hate me, but I'll still talk to you.
It's all good, mate. Look, thank you so much for coming on, everyone. That is your AWSR president, Scott Yallop. As I said, very approachable. If you haven't spoken to him, get a hold of him. He answers everything. Not shy one to run away from. But yeah. Thank you very much, Scott, for coming on. This has been a nice long episode for everyone to tune in while they work during the day.
No worries,
thanks everyone for tuning in. Till the next time, we'll see you then.
No worries. Thanks, mate.